Good morning, everyone. Today we embark on Chapter 13, Assessment of Sensory Perception and Social Participation Capacity, Part 1. I am your instructor, Tan Yu Qin. This chapter will focus on explaining the assessment methods and standards for older adults' sensory abilities, including vision, hearing, and capacity to handle daily tasks. These assessments serve as the foundation for determining their social participation capacity and directly influence their quality of life and care plan development. Let us now begin formally. This chapter is structured around three core components. 1. Operational protocols and scoring criteria for visual assessment. 2. Implementation methodologies and clinical considerations for hearing assessment. 3. Key assessment parameters and special case management for assessment of ability to handle daily tasks. We will now examine each component systematically. We begin with vision assessment. Visual assessment constitutes the first component of sensory assessment. Preserved visual capacity serves as the foundation for maintaining reading ability, social engagement, and independent living among older adults. The vision assessment includes whether the subject can see different font sizes in books and newspapers, recognize objects, and perceive light, color, and object shapes. The vision assessment should be conducted when the subject's vision is at its best. If the subject regularly wears corrective lenses, the assessment should be conducted after wearing the corrective lenses. Vision assessment generally employs a measurement method. The assessor places a compliant vision measuring tool, such as a book, newspaper, or testing pen, approximately 30 centimeters, directly in front of the subject, and conducts the assessment under sufficient lighting conditions. The assessor's specific procedures are as follows. Select a passage from a book or newspaper with different font sizes and have the assessment subject read out the text in the standard font size. If the person being evaluated cannot see the standard font size text, ask them to read the larger font size text in the selected passage. If the person being evaluated cannot see the text in a large font size, have them read aloud the title in the selected passage with the largest font size. If the person being evaluated cannot see the title with the largest font size, then use a test pen, mobile, phone book, water cup, or other objects for the person being evaluated to identify. Scoring criteria 2 points. The assessed subject has normal vision. For example, when wearing reading glasses, the assessed subject can accurately read standard-sized text in books and newspapers within a short reaction time. Illiterate or semi-literate individuals can accurately express some standard-sized text in books and newspapers through spoken language writing and body language. 1 point. The subject has limited vision. For example, the subject can accurately read large font text in books and newspapers, but cannot see the content in standard font text. Or cannot see the largest font title, but can accurately identify the items in the assessor's hands. 0 points. The subject has difficulty recognizing objects, only able to see light, color, and shape, or is completely blind. For example, if an assessor makes a gesture about 30 centimeters in front of the subject and then slowly moves their finger from side to side, the subject's gaze cannot accurately follow the assessor's finger. Or if an assessor holds a testing pen and stands about 30 centimeters in front of the subject cannot recognize the object as a pen and can only roughly describe its color, shape, and other characteristics. In visual assessment, there are many aspects requiring attention. 1. Sufficient light is for people with normal vision. 2. Visual acuity assessment is an assessment of the visual acuity of both eyes of the subject being assessed rather than an assessment of only the left or right eye. 3. Mispronunciation, illiteracy, and color discrimination. The eye's ability to distinguish colors are not within the scope of vision assessment. 4. Visual impairments, such as narrowing or missing visual fields caused by eye diseases such as glaucoma, cataracts, and retinal detachment, are included in the scope of visual assessment. Special circumstances require specific protocols. The subject of the assessment has a severe visual field deficiency, making it impossible for them to recognize objects more than 1 meter away. During the vision assessment, when the subject is asked to look at a visual acuity measuring instrument 30 centimeters away within their narrow visual field, they can accurately identify it. However, when asked to look at objects approximately 30 centimeters away outside their narrow visual field, they cannot recognize the objects. In such cases, the assessor may assign the subject a vision score of 0 and record this in detail in the special incident record sheet. Carefully inquire about the subject's history of eye diseases and record the details of the condition in the special matters record sheet. We now proceed to hearing assessment. Hearing assessments should be conducted when the subject's hearing is at its best. If the subject regularly wears hearing aids, the assessment should be conducted after they start wearing them. The hearing assessment includes whether the subject can hear moderately loud sounds from a source more than 2 meters away and whether they can clearly hear conversations. The table shows the hearing scoring criteria, assessment methods, and scoring criteria. During the test, the assessor should speak softly or ask the subject simple questions at a normal volume from a distance of 2 meters or more. If the subject can hear clearly, their hearing is assessed as 2 points. If they cannot hear clearly, their hearing is assessed as 1 point. If the subject cannot hear, but can hear in a quiet environment, or can only hear when the assessor speaks loudly from a distance of 2 meters or more, their hearing is assessed as 1 point. If the subject can only hear when the assessor speaks loudly or very slowly from a distance of less than 2 meters, or if the subject is completely deaf, their hearing is assessed as 0 points. Assessment considerations. 1. Try to conduct hearing assessments in a quiet environment. 2. When communicating with the person being evaluated, try to use the local dialect or standard Mandarin. Slow down your speech, ensure clear pronunciation, and use appropriate body language. 3. The assessment subject's responses to sound are not limited to verbal expression. Assessment subjects with weaker language skills can express themselves through writing, body language, etc. 4. Hearing ability assessment is not limited to the assessment subject's performance during the hearing assessment. Throughout the assessment of the elderly's abilities, the assessor can carefully observe the assessment subject's response to sound. Some assessment subjects are more sensitive to familiar sounds. Therefore, if necessary, someone familiar to the assessment subject can communicate with the assessment subject, and the assessor can observe from the side to make an accurate judgment. 5. Hearing assessment is an assessment of the hearing of the subject in both ears rather than an assessment of the left or right ear alone. Finally, we examine the third component assessment of ability to handle daily tasks. The ability to handle daily affairs includes evaluating whether the subject can independently plan, arrange, and complete daily affairs, as well as the degree of dependence on others when handling daily affairs. Evaluation methods. The main methods for assessing the ability to handle daily tasks are observation and interviews. Here is the scoring criteria for handling daily tasks table. 4 points. Able to plan, arrange, and complete daily tasks completely independently without assistance. 3 points. Needs supervision or guidance from others when planning, arranging, and completing daily tasks. 2 points. Needs a small amount of assistance from others when planning, arranging, and completing daily tasks. 1 point. Needs a lot of help from others when planning, arranging, and completing daily tasks. 0 points. Completely dependent on others for daily tasks. During the assessment, evaluators must fully consider individual differences. The frequency with which each person does laundry, makes small purchases, and takes medication varies. In order to more objectively and accurately assess the assessee's ability to handle daily affairs, assessors should not only inquire in detail about the completion of daily affairs by the assessee and caregivers, but also take into account the actual situation of the assessee's completion of daily affairs in the past week and conduct a comprehensive assessment. Assessors need to score the candidate's ability to handle daily tasks based on the worst possible performance of each individual task. For individuals being assessed who are admitted to nursing homes or are paralyzed and whose daily affairs are handled by family members, nursing home staff, caregivers, etc., the assessors must inquire in detail about the actual situation of the individual or caregiver in handling daily affairs within the past week and make a judgment based on this. Special circumstances require documentation. First, the person being assessed is in good health and generally does their own grocery shopping, cooking, laundry, and cleaning every day. However, due to their advanced age, they sometimes ask others to handle daily tasks when they are not feeling well, though this is not frequent. In such cases, the assessor, based on the person's physical and mental condition, can evaluate their ability to handle daily tasks as 4 points and record this in detail in the Special Matters record sheet. Second, due to health reasons, the individual's daily tasks are handled by others. When, in particularly good health, the individual may shop for groceries, cook, and do laundry with the assistance of others, but only once or twice a month. In such cases, the assessor, based on the individual's physical and mental condition, may assign a score of 1 to their ability to handle daily tasks and record this in detail in the special items record form. Third, the person being assessed has a feeding tube in place and can only consume liquid food or receive intravenous nutrition, so they generally do not cook or do laundry. In this situation, the assessor, based on the person's physical and mental condition, may assign a score of 0 to their ability to handle daily tasks and record this situation in detail in the Special Matters record sheet. Now please look at the after-class overview question. During the vision assessment, Grandma Zhang could not see the standard font size on the books and newspapers clearly, but she could accurately identify the water cup and pen in the assessor's hand. According to the scoring criteria, what score should Grandma Zhang's eyesight be rated? Dear students, in this session we have covered 3 key components of sensory perception and social participation: capacity assessment, visual acuity, auditory function, and the ability to manage daily tasks. By applying these methods and standards, we can more objectively understand the functional levels of older adults in their daily lives. We hope that in your future studies and professional practice, you will flexibly utilize this knowledge to provide a scientific foundation for the care and services supporting older adults. Thank you all.